Hello, welcome to Millwall Fan TV. This is a Sunday roundup where we'll talk a little bit about yesterday's poor defeat against Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, but we'll also be looking ahead to the Huddersfield game on Wednesday evening at, I think it's called the John Smith Stadium. I don't know if they changed that name over the years. Well, have a look. But yeah, so let's start off by talking about the poor performance on Saturday against Nottingham Forest, and let's go with the team that Gary Rowett chose to start the match. So it's the same team that we saw play so well against Bournemouth on Tuesday night. So begs the question, why did they play so differently on Saturday? Why? For me, I don't really know. I'm a bit baffled by it. I'm sure many of you are as well. How can you go from playing so well on Tuesday night and nearly beating a top three championship side with absolute quality in their team to losing 3-1 to a Nottingham Forest side that really, let's be honest, they've got a really good squad, haven't they? But they weren't all that. And you just have to think, if we upped it by 20-30% like we did on Tuesday night, we probably would have won that game quite comfortably. We were limited to chances. Their keeper was flapping around with the ball. Why didn't we test him more? Why didn't we have more shots at goal? That's the question for me. I think I don't really know how we can go from playing so well to playing so poorly. That I don't really know. That's one that only the players will know. It started off the first half and we were really poor in the first 25 minutes, and as Rowett said, we started to grow into it the next 10 minutes after that, and we concede, and that kills us really. In the grand scheme of things, because if we can hang it on in there until half time, we've got a chance because we played so poorly. But if we can nick one, you never know. But they score. Amiobi with his left foot, slight deflection. But Rowett said after the game, they said all week in training, don't let him on his left foot. What they do, they let him on his left foot. It's so frustrating, isn't it? It was a great finish by Amiobi, and the second goal was a great finish too. But after that, we came into it just before half time. We could have equalised through Hutchinson, who got his header cleared off the line by Lewis Grabban. But did we really deserve to go in, draw in at half time? No, we didn't. We weren't good enough. We were nowhere near good enough. Had I have taken the draw at half time? Absolutely. But we just weren't good enough. I don't know. It's one of them ones where you trying to get my head around it still. Nottingham Forest looked good in patches. They closed our midfield down really well. They stopped Kenneth Zohore from getting on it. Kenneth Zohore didn't do much at all. But then again, Kenneth Zohore didn't have a chance to do very much at all. Troy Parrott didn't do very much at all, and Jed was pretty average yesterday as well. Let's get on to the subject of Kenneth Zohore actually. So obviously his loan expired yesterday. After the match, Gary Rowett did confirm that Millwall are still in talks with West Brom over extending the loan of Kenneth Zohore. And it's one that possibly could rumble over the next couple of days. He also said after the match that we are looking to bring in a couple of players, and I think he said bubbling. There is some bubbling going on with one or two players that potentially could come in. It's about getting them over the line now. So we could potentially see 2 new players come in very, very soon, which would be excellent because this squad needs freshening up. It needs a bit more energy about it. It needs a bit more desire. It needs a bit more grit. But we need to make sure we strengthen in the right areas, because I think midfield's a massive area right now that we are lacking in. Get me wrong, I really like Ryan Woods, and I always have done. But Ryan Woods at the moment is a bit of a luxury, and we can't afford him really. He's very. I think if Woods is going to play, he has to. I saw someone mention it yesterday on Twitter, and I absolutely agreed. If Woods is going to play, he has to play in a midfield three, because he needs to be the one that gets the ball and sprays it around. The other two have to be working their socks off, because Ryan Woods doesn't win the ball back. He gets the ball and passes it around. So maybe Lennon Tomo in the middle next to him would work. I don't know. Obviously, Tomo scored yesterday and deserved that fully. He's been in and out of the sides is an understatement. I think he's been a bit unfairly treated actually. I really like Thompson, and he hasn't been given a fair crack this year. Whether we sign if we sign 2 midfielders in January, will he go out on loan? That's the question. Rowett obviously doesn't fancy him, does he? Doesn't rate him up. You can see that. But let's forget about the Forest game now, and let's look forward to the Wednesday night game against Huddersfield Town, which only really a win will do to get us off this poor run of form and stop the rot. So let's talk about Huddersfield. Huddersfield are only about seven points ahead of us. So, you know, if we can win this game and potentially get something out of our game in hand, we could quite easily be back on level to back near mid-table again. So, you know, there's plenty to be optimistic about, but we need to make sure that we're at our best all the time. Huddersfield obviously are managed by Carlos Cobrahan, who used to be the Leeds assistant manager under Marcelo Bielsa. So, you know, obviously a good manager there, playing good football, attracts good talent, and they've got some really good players in their side. In fact, funny enough, they just signed Sorba Thomas from Boreham Wood, who we faced just a week ago. Didn't see that one coming, to be honest. But they've also got quality like Josh Koroma. I think one of them's injured. I'll make sure I check that. But Josh Koroma, you know, they've got other players that can hurt you. So we need to be at our best. Harry Toffolo's another one that I would look out for on Wednesday evening. Obviously, former Millwall player and has done very, very well since leaving. One of the ones that I think got away from us. So yeah, it's going to be a really tough game. But let's go with a team that I think that Gary Rowett will go to start the match. So here it is. In goal, Bartosz Bajkowski, Danny McNamara, Hutchinson, Cooper and Malone at the back. In the middle, we'll go with Ryan Woods and Ryan Leonard. I can't see him changing that. I would, but I can't see him changing that. We'll go with Jeb Wallace and Mason Bennett on the wings. And up top, we'll go with Troy Parrott and Matt Smith. So there's your lineup. Obviously, no Kenneth Zohore, because obviously, unless his deal is extended by Tuesday, he will not be able to play on Wednesday. So if we can get that deal done, I can see him starting against Huddersfield, but we'll have to wait and see. And for the time being, he's not a Millwall player at this moment in time, so I'm going to go without him in the prediction. I think it's going to be big if we can extend his loan. I think he's a really good player, and I really like Kenneth Zohore. I think he's probably a class above what we have at the club, but he's one that I think needs to be played in the right position. If he plays in the right position, he'll score goals for us. He's already shown that. I give Matt Smith a go because he terrorised Huddersfield last year at the John Smith Stadium when it was 1-0. He got the only goal of the game, but our only goal, and he terrorised them. He really did make things difficult for them. I'd start him on Wednesday, especially without Zohore. And Troy Parrott to go alongside, and that's what I go with. But here is my pre-match prediction. I'm going to go with the pre-match prediction. And I'm going to go with, we have to bounce back, we have to find something, but I can't see it. I'm going to go with Huddersfield 1, Millwall 1, a get draw, which in all circumstances won't be that bad of a result, but we desperately need a win, and it has to come soon. But if you think you know what the score's going to be, leave it down below. And I always love interacting with you lot. You're always great company, and I always love your ideas and your thoughts. So thank you very much for that. Without further ado, come on, you Lions.